Welcome back, mathematicians. In this video, we are going to solve a cubic equation by factoring. Now, a quick disclaimer, not all cubic equations can be solved using this factor by grouping method. However, there are some that can be factored by grouping, so let's go through that process. First, we look at the first two terms of the cubic equation, and we identify the greatest common factor from those first two terms. That greatest common factor for this equation happens to be x squared. That means the other factor will be x plus 2. We are now going to repeat the process for the last two terms, but there's a catch. We know that one of the factors needs to be x plus 2. So one factor from the first group must match one factor from the second group. And so the question becomes, what do we factor from negative 25x minus 50 so that one of the factors is x plus 2? And that would be a negative 25. If it were positive, we would put plus. If it's negative, we put minus. Don't forget the equals 0. And now we look at the fact that we have two groupings of terms. Here's one grouping and here's another grouping. And in each grouping, what we have is a common factor. So we will take and factor that common factor out, which is x plus 2, leaving us with x squared minus 25 as the other factor. Now at this point, if you want to, you could use the zero product property to go ahead and complete this problem and solve for x. However, notice that x squared minus 25 does match the difference of squares model. So the difference of squares model says that if you have a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. Because the first term is a perfect square, the second term is also a perfect square, and the fact that we are subtracting those terms, that's what tells us we are in that model of the difference of squares. So I will factor x squared minus 25, which is x plus 5 times x minus 5. Now I'm prepared to use the zero product property for all three factors. So we have x plus 2 is equal to 0. Solve that, and we get x equals negative 2. We have x plus 5 is equal to 0. Solve that. We get x equals negative 5. And finally, x minus 5 is equal to 0. Solve that, and we have x is equal to positive 5. So we have three solutions that are all integers for this cubic equation. And that is how you solve a cubic equation by factoring. All right, guys, good luck.